Man, a common question that I get asked, why don't you drink? Why don't you smoke? Why don't you watch adult entertainment? Why are you trying to limit your caffeine? Why are you trying to be in the gym so much? Why are you doing this? Why this? Why that? And I like to often sit and reflect on what are essentially my internal FAQs. Now, FAQs are frequently asked questions on websites. You know, when you go to a website and it has a frequently asked question, how long is the shipping time? What's your returns policy? I have these for myself. And I almost want to create these videos as a resource of FAQs for questions that I consistently get asked. And something that popped up to me was, this is when I was doing one of my journal entries. I titled it Discipline Diaries because I believe that discipline is one of the roots to true internal peace. I said, most fleeting pleasures are an external crutch to temporarily mask your internal inadequacies. Now, an internal inadequacy could be that you're someone that is an overthinker. And by an overthinker, not just a little bit, you let your mind run completely wild. Now, an external crutch to compensate that inadequacy that you have would be smoking weed potentially. If you're somebody that has social anxiety and dealing with going out, the external crutch would be drinking alcohol. If you're somebody that your internal inadequacy is dealing with your level of lust and your desire for certain sexual encounters, the external crutch that is, short-term gratification in that instance is going to be adult entertainment and pornography. Okay? But these are fleeting pleasures. By a fleeting pleasure, it's something that comes and passes very quickly. It's not long lasting or sustaining. And I was thinking about why I get that sense of regret when I partake in certain things, and it's because inherently I know that I'm masking an internal inadequacy rather than working on it and solving the problem, or rather than sitting in that problem and allowing the light to come to me. Because sometimes people can think that, if someone finds something really challenging, for example, smoking, they don't realize that the discipline of them the challenge of them having that is probably one of their biggest rewards. If you're somebody that wants to quit smoking and 10, 15, 20, 50 like times a day, you're challenged by smoking, that means that you have 10 to 20 to 50 opportunities to withhold from an innate desire and build trust with yourself. Do you know how powerful that is? It means that you have more opportunities than someone else to prove yourself in a given moment. And when you have that internal congruency with your consciousness, which is guided by the regret you have in certain situations, you know that you have the power and the control in that situation to feel positivity when you don't do it. So sometimes you can feel like, these I quoted them inadequacies. You can call them a range of things. They can be vices. You can label it whatever. If you get offended by that, apologies, but it's an inadequacy. When you're adequate, you are fully competent. You don't rely on certain things. You don't let certain things pull you down. That's another story. But yeah, these most potent desires are actually your greatest opportunity to prove to yourself that you are who you think you are. Now, what I wrote under the Discipline Diaries. Doing the right thing consistently allows your baseline to be generally higher than succumbing to your desires and temptations. So what that means is your baseline, let's say this is the graph, okay? Drinking's fantastic. It's up here because obviously a lot of the time you're just clouding the neurochemistry in your brain. So you're up here, dopamine, serotonin, yeah, you feel great. But the crash after, you're down here. So what it means is generally not drinking, your baseline is elevated. So you're never going to be as high as the high, but you're never going to be as low as the low. But the problem is in this life, unless you are, you've got serious issues with alcohol and you're drinking every day, in which, this channel is probably not for you. Your baseline is going to be, if you're someone that's a recreational drinker or you binge drink, your baseline is going to be higher not drinking alcohol. And I just had to come to the realization that I valued that consistency of being elevated. So it's not gonna be, you're never gonna be as high all the time as when you're drinking, but your overall because consistently you're choosing to delay gratification, and your health is better, your gains are better in the gym, you're getting a deeper sleep, you're more hydrated, your skin is fuller, your baseline is going to be better, your overall life is better. For someone that questions me again, I can just send this video now as a resource, or you can send this to someone as a resource when they ask you why you don't drink or engage in certain behaviors. It's because you don't want to fall to the fleeting desires for your quality of life to be lower overall. You want your baseline of life in general to be increased, because you know if you don't engage in these things, you're going to have better sleep, you're going to have a clearer mind, that brain fog's out the window, you're going to make better decisions, you're going to be sharper, you're going to have better gains in the gym. All of these aspects, that's going to make your life better. No one can argue that's going to make your life better. It's objective, it's not subject, it's not how you feel. This is facts. These can be measurable scientific metrics if someone wants to assess your body and your composition. Okay. Up your baseline and the rest will fall into place. Up your standards and roll with the new norm. Now I'm getting a light show. That must mean something's going on. When we get the light show, we're touching on something. Up your baseline and the rest will fall into place. Up your standards and roll with the new norm. Okay? Your baseline is up in the baseline. So bit by bit, what you want to do is something that you consider to be quite extreme. You want to set that as a new standard. And now that will become your new baseline. Okay? Not drinking might seem extreme initially, but now that's your new baseline. That's the roll. Now you up your standards and you roll with the new norms. Your standards are higher for certain things. So you expect certain things. Now you expect a better quality of sleep. And you stack these consistently until you get to the point where you look back and you might be disappointed in yourself for not getting 8 hours of sleep. Whereas before, you'd be disappointed in yourself for something that's just, way different. Like your baseline and your standards are completely different because you're shaping yourself into a new person. So previously, your baseline might be like, you were content with getting 5 hours sleep and you ate unhealthy foods. Now you're like, whoa, I can't believe I ate this cookie outside. This has taken me outside of my macronutrients and my diet, and I can't believe I've not got 8 hours sleeps. So you're at your baseline and fundamental standards as an individual are now in a new realm. So discipline diaries, man. We got the light show. Discipline diaries. When someone questions why you don't partake in an activity, let them know that you're trying to elevate not only your standards, but you're trying to elevate your quality of life. And the only way that can happen is by increasing your standards for yourself and understanding that these short-term plays and the short-term gratification is fleeting. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Whereas when you become a person of integrity and your character is fortified by you making decisions consistently, that is with you forever. What would you rather choose? Would you rather feel elevated for a moment, but you're using something that's outside of yourself? You're using these external sources, which is essentially an illusion because it's not real. It's illusory. This is not real, the way you feel when you drink alcohol, Or would you rather just feel like a better human on a consistent basis where you're going to live 95% of your life? You're not going to be intoxicated 95% of your life. It's really more like the 5%, maybe the 3% of your time. Even if you think about a night out, when I think about it now, it's crazy. I was someone I'd never like to get to the club before. I wouldn't even want to get to the club before 12. So that means I'm going to get to the club about half 12, 1. The club's only open until about half 3. So that's 3 hours. But the consequences of that, when you think that a whole day is 24 hours, is affecting my conscious living and my unconscious, because it's affecting the quality of your sleep and is affecting you in your day. The risk to reward and the ratio of the cost to the benefit analysis just doesn't make sense. Okay, and if you're a logical person and you're someone that thinks things through, you'll be able to follow this well. And yeah, this video, Discipline Diaries, man, is essentially going to be an FAQ on what the point of short-term gratification over the long term. We got the light show. That means we're hit with, listen, when you see the light show, the points must be resonating because the frequencies keep changing. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the other side. You already know what to expect. The consistency is key. Imperfect action over perfect action every single time. Let's get it.